On the front bench and under the spotlight, it may be Prime Minister's questions, but today it's the Deputy Prime Minister in the firing line. In a dramatic admission, Angela Rayner has admitted after mounting pressure to be transparent about her property dealings that she underpaid stamp duty on the purchase of an £800,000 flat.
It's been quite a distressing time for my family. I have a court order that was in place around confidentiality regarding my son, my family and my divorce proceedings that happened. With all of the media reports that have been coming out, I took expert counsel advice on all of my affairs to ensure that everything was done proper, and that expert counsel said that the advice that I received was inaccurate.
Angela Rayner and her then husband bought a house in Greater Manchester in 2016. In 2023, after separating, they placed the property into a court-instructed trust for their children, one of whom has additional needs. In January 2025, Rayner sold her stake in the property to the trust. Then, this summer, she bought an £800,000 flat in Hove, and after getting legal advice, said it's the only property she owns. For council tax, however, she listed the flat in Hove as her second home and the one in Manchester as her primary residence, as that's where she spends much of her time. She also has access to a Grace and Favour apartment in Admiralty House on Whitehall.
She has admitted she underpaid tax. So why is she still in office?
She has explained her personal circumstances in detail. She's gone over and above in setting out the details, including Mr. Speaker, yesterday afternoon, asking a court to lift a confidentiality order in relation to her own son. I am very proud to sit alongside a Deputy Prime Minister who's come from a working-class background to be Deputy Prime Minister of this country.
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure we would have heard all that sympathy if it was a Conservative Deputy Prime Minister who was being attacked. If he had a backbone, he would sack her.
Rayner has now referred herself to the independent ethics advisor on ministerial standards. She says she's followed all legal advice, and it's the complexity of her divorce and the care for her son that has contributed to this. Shihab Khan, ITV News.
All right, let's get reaction from our political editor, Robert Peston, at Parliament for us this lunchtime. Robert, can she survive this?
Well, that's very much in the balance. The heart of her statement is that she was given legal advice that the stamp duty that she had to pay on this Hove apartment that she bought was 5%, whereas she's now admitted that she should have paid 10% stamp duty. So she should have paid an additional £40,000, which, you know, is a very substantial sum of money. Now, many people would say, look, she's Deputy Prime Minister, she's actually the Minister in charge of all housing issues in the UK. She should have been aware that HMRC takes the sort of standard view that if you transfer your property into a trust for the benefit of your children, you will be deemed nonetheless to continue to have an interest in that property, and therefore if you buy another property you will have to pay the higher rate. Now, many people would say she should have just known that. Actually, let's be clear, maybe there are lots of people who aren't aware of that rule, but certainly any solicitor advising her on the purchase of her Hove apartment should have been able to give her the correct advice that she had to pay the additional £40,000. So her survival depends absolutely totally on whether she can produce the evidence that she got the wrong advice from her solicitor. If she can prove that beyond any doubt, then I suspect that the Prime Minister's ethics advisor will give her the benefit of the doubt, and probably the British people will give her the benefit of the doubt. If she can't prove that, I fear she will have to resign.
As I say, a developing story. Robert, thank you very much. Robert Peston there.